Welcome to the recap of Miss France 2024. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider joining memberships for exclusive access to extended versions of my episodes. I love this pageant because it has arguably one of the best productions in the entire pageant industry. This year's show opening, I think, was exceptional. They started with the host of the show and he was in his PJs, and then we got to see that this set was pulled away and he had a quick change on stage. But what I really appreciated was the unique camera angle, and it took me a second to figure it out. But instead of starting the show with the camera facing the stage and facing the contestants were actually turned around, so the camera was actually facing the audience. And it took me a second because I was like, wait a second, are all those lights in the back the actual venue, or is it an LED screen? And then we got to see the rotation of that camera angle. So it was really, really beautiful and such an easy thing to do that was just very creative. And then we got to see our reigning queen come down from the ceiling, and it was just so dreamy. I love it. I really, really like that in France they use essentially everything that they've got. Like they're using different side entrances, they're using stairs, they're using the ceiling, they're using performers, they're using props. There's so much going on here in this show, which is why I think it is so spectacular. If you're familiar with this pageant, you know that there are multiple dance numbers and production numbers. So the first one in the show was an 80s themed number, and it opened up with a song from Cyndi Lauper that I even grew up with, and that was just Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And I loved listening to that one. Super cute costumes. But I'm going to share with you the ladies that stuck out to me there for that segment. Côte d'Azur looked beautiful on stage. I thought she was very, very pretty when she came out. She got a great camera shot. I also need to make a quick note. Please excuse my pronunciation. I'm trying. I'm making an effort here. Also for this segment, they had roller skaters on stage doing a live performance, and there was one point where the roller skater did this lift that I've never seen before, and it took me a second to even figure out what was going on. I was like, this is incredible. Ile-de-France was so cute to me. I just thought she was adorable on stage. Mayotte was very confident, and she had a great smile here, very sincere. Those ladies caught my eye for that segment. Now let's talk about the next one with the next group of contestants. And this was a salsa segment. Oh my gosh. And the ladies, the dresses that they wore were a remake of the iconic J.Lo Versace dress. Incredible. I loved it. I would have wanted to be in that segment. Bourgogne, very cute. Provence, honestly, when are their title holders not stunning? I feel like some of the most beautiful French contestants always come from this region. And there's something about her, though, she's reminding me of somebody else that I've seen this year. It might be that she's reminding me of Australia at Miss Universe this year, but it could be someone else. Let me know. Who do you think? Tahiti to me was so fresh, and I loved her walk. I loved her confidence. She was an instant favorite for me. Guadeloupe, I love. So there were a couple moments that didn't go as planned for her. I know that. They had a little sash in their dance, and she dropped her sash. She kept going. She kind of toppled over a little bit at the end of their dance, and she just picked herself back up and she kept going. She had such great stage presence, and I really want to mention that because ladies, all those little things, frankly, they don't really matter that much, and the judges aren't going to scrutinize you for those things that are kind of out of your control. So just pick yourself up and keep going like Guadeloupe. Alsace looked very pretty. Normandie had really, really fun energy, and she was so beautiful. Before they were doing the dance numbers, we got to learn a little bit more about each contestant, and I always love these videos every year. They are so beautifully shot. They look like professional commercials. Every contestant looks beautiful. So I'm not going to get into the details of each of these, but I do want to talk about the winner of this year's edition, Nord-Pas-de-Calais, and this is what she essentially said in hers. She says, "My name is Eve. I'm 20 years old. I'm in my second year of mathematics, and I'd like to become a statistician in the future. I have the temperament of a warrior. I'd like to become the first ever Miss France with short hair," and that's exactly what she did. She looked stunning in her video. Now they did a rock music section, and the opening, I love that the font was like Kiss the band, like that they pulled from that as inspiration, but this one was really fun. They even had fake guitars, and it was really cool. For me, Martinique was so beautiful. She has what I call a stage face. Like, it really, really carries well on stage. I don't know how she is as much in images or up close, but there are some contestants where you see them and you're just like, wow, she really, really stands out on stage, on camera, and even at a distance. I have to say that Pays de la Loire, that she looked so beautiful in her red lip. Oh, that look was just working for her. Notre Pas de Calais, I was very, very surprised in the best way and impressed when she did a spin turn walking down the runway, because we usually do not see this at this pageant. Oh my gosh, she did that and she did it well. And she brought so much energy. She was strong from the very beginning. And also whenever you would see her in a group number, she stuck out. Like she was really, really working it in those dances, really bringing forth that energy. And I must say that we do not always see that at Miss France. Like a lot of the times I feel like the contestants, like they're a little bit more reserved, and that's just what we see every year. And this is the first time that I feel like I've seen a contestant that's up there and she was just fighting for it from the beginning. And I love that. Réunion was so beautiful. And I feel like this is another region in France that consistently crowns beautiful title holders to represent them at the national competition. There's something in the water over there. For the next part of the show, it was like this burlesque, Moulin Rouge themed number, and then the contestants also came out wearing outfits that represented their regions, which is also a fun little thing that they do every year. So I'm curious though, the outfits that we saw in the beginning, isn't that Iris's outfit, her national costume when she competed in Miss Universe? Isn't that the same exact outfit? Because I remember that they said that that's an authentic outfit from Moulin Rouge. So I am so curious, is that the exact outfit? Then I also liked that on the side of the stage, we had former title holders also participating, and they were all dressed up and doing little dance numbers with the dancers. And it was just, I'm so happy, I loved it. So I'm gonna talk about a couple of really, really cute little outfits here and things that I thought were done well. Tahiti, so cute. Not only did she come out in her little costume, but she did a little dance too. And that also reminds me of Miss International. I feel like at Miss International for national costume, you typically see the contestants do some kind of little performance that makes sense or little dance that accompanies their national costume. And I think it's so cute. France Comté, I think that her outfit was really fun. I was trying to get a closer look though of what was on the skirt. Was it pastries? Am I wrong? I don't know, but it was really cute. And then the bright color obviously really stood out on stage. Bourgogne, I don't know what this dress was, but I just thought it was really cute. Guadeloupe, she danced too. Great choice, she looked great. Was Normandie the fleur-de-lis? Is that what she was? I mean, I know she had it on her head, but was that the whole thing? I don't know. Provence, I like that she stood out with structure and that this skirt was really short because it really featured her beautiful long legs. Great choice. Alsace, I like this. She went with the classic red, black, and white look, and I have talked about this years ago at the beginning of my channel, that the red, black, and white look does so well for fashion type competitions and pageantry. It's just a classic look that you can do again and again and again, and it seems to always stand out. Guyane had a really unique and structured piece, and then it had a double slit, so it brought like a little bit of that sexiness to the stage, and I liked that. Pays de la Loire, she had a skirt that looked like a globe, and it had structure, and it almost had like the lines of the equator. That's what it sort of looked like, that gave structure to the skirt, and I thought that was really unique. Martinique's look was so cute, so colorful, and I like that she had the little fan as an accessory. Midi-Pyrénées, she had a beautiful floral skirt here. Mayotte, I thought that she made great use of her cape, not just the front of it, but she also utilized the back, and that's something you can definitely do with national costumes or regional costumes. Aubergine, she reminded me of the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, because Taylor Swift also had this jumpsuit, and so I don't know if she pulled from inspiration for that. Poitou-Charentes, she reminded me kind of a gladiator. I'm not sure if that's what she was going for, but that's how I was interpreting it. Lorraine, oh my goodness, I loved this, and I can't really think of a time that somebody's done this, but I feel like you definitely could. She's like the chef at the table, and it almost reminds me of Beauty and the Beast, also set in France. Just look at the Can Girls segment too. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait until the day I get to see this show in person. Now the Ladies opened in this gold number, and it was started by this song from Michael Bublé. It was really, really great. For me, this was Lorraine's best performance. I thought she had a really, really beautiful ending pose at the end of the runway. So this was her strongest moment of the show for me. Notre Pas de Calais, she just knows how to work it, okay? She just knows how to work it. She's working it. This was a strong segment for a few contestants, and for me, Midi-Pyrénées, this was her best moment in the show. Tahiti, I love her. I still love her. Great energy, long legs, beautiful, fresh. Please keep her moving forward. Guadeloupe was doing a great job, but in this moment, there was something about this number where I was like, oh, I want her hair to be even bigger. I don't know what that would take. Would it take extensions or would it just take teasing? I'm not sure. Languedoc. So she was somebody that I saw her earlier in the show and I was like, she's very facially beautiful in my opinion, but I always thought she could be bringing more energy. But right here, I felt like this was her strongest moment in the show. Also, the idea of incorporating palms into this piece, it was just like such an easy, cute little thing that you can do visually. And I didn't even think about it because I think palms and cheer, but it looked great. In this segment, Poitou-Charentes, I thought that the walk needed work, but she was bringing the right energy and that can earn you points. Ile-de-France, for me, this was her best look too. I was loving it. Pays de la Loire, for me, I thought that she brought her most genuine smile in this segment. There must have been something about it because it seemed like the contestants were just really loving this part of the show. I have to say that Bourgogne, I don't know what was happening. I didn't follow the contestants leading up to this, but the crowd really seemed to love her every single time. And obviously there is a fan vote and I wouldn't have been surprised if we saw her in a top 5 and then if she were to make it to the top 5 to win because of the fan vote. Centre-Val de Loire was beautiful and she had such amazing legs. Honestly, so many of these contestants do. I feel like because they put them in these little like mini dresses and leotard type looks and bodysuit looks every year, you really get to see how beautiful all their legs are. So fit. Normandie was really pretty and she had some beautiful facial expression changes and I appreciated that. Réunion had a great moment here and honestly she lucked out. She got a good part of the music. Then we get to see some behind the scenes of the moments that were leading up to this competition. So we got to see the contestants go on outings. They went to a Christmas tree lighting. They were playing basketball. They also every year do a group trip. So they were all over the place and I love that. I love this program of the contestants and also I think it's kind of cute that they all have matching little outfits. Even in the cold they had their scarves and their matching hats. They were so adorable and honestly that makes it so easy for contestants in a competition if you don't have to come up with these extra outfits. Now I know some of you are probably gonna say, but wait, you didn't like that at Miss USA when they wore the same t-shirts. Correct. That's because the poor contestants had to wear the same t-shirts, literally the same shirt. Like they didn't get a new shirt every day. They were given 2 shirts, I think, for the week. Then they had to purchase more. I didn't like that the contestants wore the exact same shirt every single day. And then we're just responsible for wearing black bottoms. And there's only, how creative can I get with these black bottoms on a t-shirt, right? Ugh, no. But here in this competition, the outfits are different for each event. But when they go to the events, they all match and they look adorable. For the next part of the show, there was a top 15 announcement and the contestants get to share a little bit about themselves in about under a minute. And this is really important because you want obviously the judges to move you forward, but also there is that fan vote. So you're also convincing the audiences around France to vote for you and pick you ultimately as their queen. So I'm gonna make a couple comments on what these ladies said. Now I am so grateful and thankful because I had such an outpouring of people that were willing to share translations of the show and made this episode possible. So the translation I ended up using was from William. And what I'm actually gonna do is share with you in a link in the description if you would like to actually see the script that William sent over to me so that you can read more about each of the contestants and the show. So I'm just gonna have a few comments on the top 15 because there's a lot here. So Normandie said that she would like to become a research engineer in the field of autism because 2 of her relatives have autism and it's not an illness to be cured, but a difference to be understood and supported. I thought that was really beautiful. And then she talked about that if she were to become the Miss France, that she would like to pass on the values of sharing kindness and tolerance. And I really honestly think that she did such a great job with this and was a strong speaker. So she stood out for me personally. Tahiti said that she was born 25 years ago, the day after the 1998 Football World Cup final when France won, and her father wanted to call her France. And then she made a little joke saying, but we know who wins the arguments in the couples, right, ladies? So her mom chose her name, but it means the beauty of love in Tahitian. And she feels like that defines her pretty well. And then she says that she wants to be the face of France for 1 year and that she hopes that you will call her France for the next year. So I just loved how she brought it right back to the beginning because it's so true. If you win and you go to Miss Universe or Miss World, you sort of lose your name and they just call you by your country. I just really like that she said that she hopes that you'll be calling her France for the next year. That was cute. Midi Pierrani, she got a little nervous during her speech, and I feel like that really hurt her. And the other thing I want to mention that she did and many other contestants did is they're death gripping the microphone. So this is something that when I work with little girls, even starting at age 4, that's something that I teach them not to do because it's going to make you look quite nervous on stage. Ile-de-France, so she had something interesting that she did here. So she talked in the beginning of her speech about how her friends encouraged her not to memorize a speech for the competition. They were saying that it wouldn't make her, make her authentic. And I understand where her well-intentioned friends were coming from, but this is a competition. There is a great advantage in having a memorized speech. I think that even if you're gonna present something that has been pre-prepared, do your best to make it sound spontaneous. And that does come from practice. Sometimes that does come from coaching. And that's exactly what I work on with my contestants. Whenever I write speeches for them and they perform them, we want them to sound as spontaneous as possible and not like you've said them a million times and you're just kind of going through the motions. So unfortunately, because she didn't memorize this and she didn't have a general timing of this speech, she did go over time and essentially the host was cutting her off. And she also sounded very nervous and very out of breath. And I think actually having that pre-prepared speech, it can be quite comforting because you know what's about to happen essentially in those moments. Bourgogne, in this moment when she presented her speech, I could see that she was so natural, so sincere, and it was very obvious why the crowd would be going wild for her throughout this show. She had a quality of authenticity. Guion really impressed me. She was so confident here. She held the mic with one hand and she just seemed like a professional host. She had some great public speaking skills. Provence, I love when the contestants add a little bit of humor here. So she said, we've often seen dentists put crowns on patients, but we rarely see dentists with one on their head. And I'm counting on you to change the course of history because Provence and Jean-Pierre have missed this crown for 44 years. So very cute, light, easygoing. I think she could have mentioned more about herself here, but regardless, she did a great job with this. Pays de la Loire, she was cute here, but she was death gripping that microphone and it was making her look very nervous. And then also another thing that happens when you do the death grip, because you're bringing tension in, right? And usually that causes the shoulders to either come in, we're shrinking ourselves on stage, or the shoulders are rising up to the ears. That's another reason I start with my little ones and I teach them one hand, not two, is because when you have two, there's just this urge to sort of, bring everything in. We're trying to shrink ourselves in that moment. Guadeloupe really impressed me with her presentation. She held the mic with one hand. She was very, very confident. She had a wonderful gaze and connection with the camera, and her facial expression changes. She was so at ease and so natural. I was obsessed with her. Notre Pas de Calais, our winner, she was talking a lot about diversity and representation because her short hair is so unique, and she had something very cute at the end where she says that diversity and change can sometimes be frightening, but it's also unifying. My crown will remain on my head despite my short hair. So it was really, really cute. Now she did have a little pause in the middle of her speech, but she got right back on track. And this does happen, but it is a little bit risky. Languedoc. So I feel like she really got everybody's heartstrings here, and I'm guessing that's why she was moving forward. In her speech, she talked about the association called Le Petit Prince, which is also a book, a childhood book in France. Essentially, it sounds like what we have in the US, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and they're making dreams come true for sick children. She was talking about this little 11-year-old girl in her speech and making her dreams come true, and then she also asked the audience if they could make her own dreams come true. Wink, wink, becoming Miss France. So I really feel like that sent her over the top. Roussillon, she spoke very confidently. Honestly, I feel like she was one of the better speakers in the competition, but it's competitive, and then they cut to the top 5. So I felt like other contestants were already so far ahead of her because their overall performances that's why this great speech didn't advance to a top 5. Now we had a disco number with all of the contestants. Normandie had a really strong walk for me. Tahiti, still loving her. She was standing out. Centre-Val-la-Loire, she looks like a dancer. That's what was coming across from me. Guion, very cute. I loved the flamenco dancer too in the center of the stage. Fantastic. Provence, very, very beautiful once again, and a great walk here. Guadeloupe had personality and performance, and I loved it. Notre Pas de Calais, consistently confident. Now they did a little disco number and it was so fun. They even gave them their little microphones in the beginning and it's so cute. Normandie, great energy for this piece. Tahiti, I love her. I just love her again and again and again. She was in my top 5. Guyane, consistent, really, really pretty, good walk. Provence, for this one, I thought that she was overworking a little bit, but I thought that the energy was there. So it works. Pays de la Loire, I really like her hair back. This look was working for her. Guadeloupe, top 5 for me. She's just so consistent, loved her. Something about this moment for Notre Pas de Calais, she just gave me chills. She gave me chills. Then after this, Andrea came out, beautiful gown. Just stunning. I really hope that we're gonna see her compete at an international pageant. Then they announced the top 5. We had Languedoc, Provence, Notre Pas de Calais, Guadeloupe, and Guyane. For me, I had 4 of those top 5 easily. And I feel like that's so common. It's like, I feel like I always have like a strong top 3 or a 4, and then the last placement or 2 is always kind of interchangeable just depending on the night. Now, former title holders asked the contestants questions, and let's talk about their questions. Languedoc was asked, what do you think Simone de Beauvoir's phrase, "You are not born a woman, you become one"? She said, I think that a woman is shaped by the experiences that she has throughout her life. Each moment brings us a little more and allows us to become the woman we want to be later on. You have to take advantage of each of these experiences to be able to develop as best you can and have a dream life the next day. I feel like the answer was okay. She said some nice things in there. I feel like what it could have been missing or something that could have made it better, because it's a question about women in general, is somehow tying it into something that's going to inspire other young women that are watching, or tying it into female empowerment. I really think that wrapping up a lot of these onstage questions with just a positive overall message is a great strategy. Provence was asked, what's the most important life lesson you have learned and how will it help you as your role as Miss France? And she said, it's not easy to sum up, but I'd say that a lot has happened in my life through travel and above all work. I'd say that the most important thing for me is work. It's necessary in life to be able to develop professionally. Talent is good, but work is better. So essentially, she has a strong work ethic. I don't think it's a bad answer, I just don't think it connected with people's hearts. Notre Pas de Calais, she was asked, what words would you use to reassure a child who has been bullied at school? So she said, harassment, whether at school or not, can happen anywhere. When I went to Miss, I didn't expect, and I think she means Miss France, the pageant, I didn't expect to be criticized for my choices such as my body, which I didn't choose. I thought I'd be more bothered by my haircut than my body. I'd like to tell this child not to listen to others. I know that words sometimes hurt more than gestures, but he'll be able to bounce back. I'd advise him to listen to those close to him. He should try to think about what makes him happy and above all, talk to an adult about it. Great advice, and she talked about personal experience. Guyane, what character trait distinguishes you most from the other candidates and is an advantage in winning tonight? Love that. She said, I'd say that I'm a warm person who likes to reach out to people, and I'm positive and energetic. I think that these are qualities required to embody Miss France. I agree. A Miss France embodies a cause, but she has to embody more than that because we have the honor and the power to unite so many people, and if you choose me tonight, I'd like to use this opportunity to champion a cause and inspire others. She should have mentioned the cause that she wanted to champion. She should have done it. That's what she needed. Guadeloupe. When you look at the women around you, how do you think you contribute to the diversity of women? And she said, it's true that the diversity of women sometimes poses difficulties today. And I say no, we all have to stop this. We have to accept every woman as she is. Accept short hair, accept shapes. Long hair, curly hair, frizzy hair. Each of us has our diversity, and that's what makes us strong and different. So it said some nice things here, but she did not specify how she personally is adding to the diversity. So she avoided talking about herself in this answer. Here are placements. 4th runner-up, Languedoc. 3rd runner-up, Guadeloupe. 2nd runner-up, Provence. If you noticed, her placement seemed to surprise our blonde judge. She looked shocked at the announcement of Provence as 2nd runner-up. 1st runner-up was Guyane, and our winner, Notre Pas de Calais. So I'm very, very excited for her. She has such a unique look. I'm so sad that I've been seeing that she's getting backlash about her hair. That's absolutely crazy that people are so worried about her haircut being short. Because the funny thing is like hair, it's like fashion and it always changes. And if you you look back at the beginning of the Miss Universe competition, women had quite short hair, and then the hair got longer, and then now we're just seeing, you know, different hairstyles emerging in the pageant, and we're going back to some shorter styles. So I just think it is so funny that people are so concerned about the length of her hair. It's crazy to me, because at the end of the day, hair lengths and styles are essentially just trends. What are we doing? Let's not waste our time on things like this. I think she brought forward a great performance. I personally love her look. I think it makes her stand out. I think she's gonna stand out at Miss Universe. If that's where they send her, I think that would be a great option for her. I do, however, think that they're probably gonna need to help her pull back a little bit on her performances so they don't lean towards that grand style of competition. But aside from that, I love her and I love the show, and I appreciate you sticking around to watch, and I hope that you'll check out my other recent recaps that I'll link right up here for you. But thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you very soon for some other episodes.